What's good, YouTube? This your man Spill, dog. Man, that boy Crawford, one thing I will give him credit for, he had to have in his mind some type of advantage going in that fight. He held Spence out the ring as long as he possibly could. Trying to get him rusty. And I don't think, I know it's going to backfire on him. I believe Crawford, when he saw that Ugas fight, all those Spence blew him out the ring. You could see the little ring rust in Spence, him getting caught with them right hands like he was. And, Crawford saw that too. But one thing Bud knew, if he'd have got back in that ring with him within 5 or 6 months of that, he'd have been in big trouble because he'd have been sharp as a razor. I still think he's going to be sharp like that because, you know, when he came out the car accident, he looked good against Danny, looked better than ever. And then after the detached retina, he looked great against Ugas. I just think Ugas was a bigger fighter with longer arms and, real kind of tricky on the inside. I agree with a lot of people when they say Ugas was like a statue, just stood there in front of Earl Spence. Well, y'all may end up saying that about Crawford at some point because he gonna try to run, but them body shots is gonna take a lot of that away come to late rounds. And Crawford gonna realize after 3 or 4 rounds he may have to start fighting because yeah, you can he gonna have nothing. He may realize he might not have nothing left late. You know, uh, Derrick James has been kind of Derrick James been as far as what Earl Spence focus been on this fight right here. I'm quite sure he been watching all the film he can, and I know Earl watched the fight himself against Avanasian. I seen Avanasian catch, with some nice big clean shots. Terrence's defense is not the greatest. I think his defense is his offense to some degree. His offense and his ability to control distance because Terrence like an octopus with them long arms. He got like a 74-inch arm reach. So then he ain't when you fight them B-level fighters, when Terrence switched to southpaw and used his lead hand, that jab is stiff and straight and hard coming out there. And so them dudes can't get past that jab. Them smaller fighters, a guy with little bitty arms, once 4 5 rounds in and Terrence got that distance set perfect, gonna be different with Spence because Spence is bigger than him and their reach is almost the same. Might have an inch or two on Spence with reach. So the range he used to fight in that ain't gonna be there. That gap is already closed. Anyway, so he probably thinking it ain't, but when he get in the fight, you gonna realize it ain't. It's not gonna be the same like it was with them other guys. Spence jab is gonna be in that boy face all night, and Ray Russ to know. I think Spence been getting ready for this fight just like Crawford been getting ready for this fight. Spence is not. His mind has been singular, so I don't think he's ever focused on any other fight in the last couple of years but Terrence Crawford. This is the only fight he wanted. I think that's going to be an advantage for Errol, even with him being out the ring as long as he was. If it was somebody else like Keith Thurman or something like that, I would be somewhat nervous just because I'm quite sure he been in his mind preparing for a tough fight with Keith or none of them, or Boots or none of them other dudes. His mind has been in one direction. I'm busting Terrence Crawford up. And so I can't say if Bud was thinking or not. I think so too. I think Bud always knew this is the fight he been avoiding all these fighters to make sure he got this one. And we gonna get it now. I like Spence all day and all night, and I stand on mine. I think Spence is the bigger, better fighter. I do. Crawford is not going to be able to calculate his moves quite like he did with Sean and Kell. Be honest with you, Kell Brook was doing pretty good before he got caught. I think Spence take a much better punch than Kell Brook. I think Spence give a much better punch than Kell Brook. And Crawford get hit clean so much. I mean, this could really be Hearns and Hagler where it's 3 or 4 real hard rounds, and then uh Bud get knocked out. I be put like this. Bud gonna try to be moving around the ring. Ray Charles can see that. But I think if Spence can have a ring cut off early, like if he done got him set up and cutting that ring off by the second and third round, Crawford go fight. Crawford is not no chump like that. So when it come down to it, he'll go ahead and knock out too. I do, like I say, I ain't got nothing against the boy. I just like Spence all day, all night in this fight. I don't think nobody that's fighting now at 147 pounds will beat Errol Spence. I don't think none of them will, not at this weight. I have seen enough to see Earl had taken some big shots. He ain't been because he been fighting all the best fighters. So when the people ask me, well, who he fought that's great, he fought was in the division at the top. That's all. And if they up there at the top, they up there for a damn reason. That's probably because they pretty good fighting. Danny Garcia is a two-division champion. That ain't easy to do. Sean Porter, two-division champion. Kell Brook was he was the champ for a long time for the IBF until Earl. When not long, he beat Sean Porter to get the IBF, and Earl went took it back from him and brought it back home. You know, he fought Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson is a damn good fighter. Lamont Peterson, and then the first thing you'll say, he a little dude. He came from 140. So did Crawford. Dude gonna tell me, you talk about them little dudes, they came from 140, well Crawford is coming from 135. What the hell y'all think gonna happen to him? Sometimes these guys make your argument for you. That's what I'm serious. I had a guy tell me that Lamont Peterson came up from 140. Well, Terrence coming up from 135. You getting the picture yet? That makes, and this is why I keep telling these cats, man, just even if they even listen to what they say out their own damn mouth, that's what I've been trying to tell people. I gotta go with the natural welterweight over a guy that been in these smaller divisions winning belts against dudes that ain't been the greatest. I mean, they really haven't. It was better fighters in all of divisions than some of the fighters he fought. You know, Sometimes a guy can come through the division at the perfect time. You can't tell me that Jeff Horn shit wasn't perfect timing. Bob, Rob, Matty, and you next in line. You know what I mean? That's a blessing right there. And then look how he has not carried himself like a true champion with that belt. Can't none of y'all deny that. He ain't been giving the guys right there at the top no shot. He ain't gave no Danny Garcias and no people like that. He had to give Sean a shot and raise holy hell about it. You can't tell me he done carried himself like a champion with that belt, with the guys he fought. You can't tell me that. When he's carried himself like a guy that's looking for a big fight and trying to make sure he don't do nothing to mess it up. Now, can y'all at least be honest and say that? You know what? He got the fight he want now. Earl Spence Jr., so he say. Earl been asking for the fight more than he had. He been preparing for the fight for the last 5-6 years. Y'all don't remember I think it was after the Sean Porter fight, he said, y'all done waited too late. I'm ready now. That came out of his mouth, not mine. You go out there and look at it and find it. Because before that, he knew he wasn't ready. Mikey Garcia, I think he was undisputed at 140 when he came to move up to the welterweight division. When you the champ at a division like middle super middleweight, shit like stuff like that, and you move up, whichever sanctioning body you choose division to go in, you are the mandatory contender for that belt. So when Terrence Crawford left the 140-pound division, he could have went to the IBF and went through the IBF, and Errol Spence would have been his mandatory fight. And in the IBF, I think you could only gain 10 pounds before the neck, between the weigh-in and the fight. So he could have got a fresh, even Errol Spence when he first came to the welterweight division. These are facts. Instead, he went over there where Jeff Horn was. You think that's a coincidence that he picked in to go to 147? go fight Jeff Horn and get me an easy belt, and I've been in jail ever since. Ever since. So this is why I say what I say. I ain't just throwing stuff out there. This fight could have been made a long time ago. Crawford was the one that didn't want it. All the, Earl wouldn't even had a choice. He'd have to fight him and get a belt up. He couldn't have ducked him like that if he'd have went, and instead he went that way. Don't y'all remember when Mikey Garcia was trying to decide where he was going, who he was going to fight when he went to welterweight? He was calling the shots because he was the big champion. Mikey was pound for pound conversation big time at that particular time, and he said he was. Bud had a belt, Spence had a belt, and everybody kept saying, "Why don't you go fight Terrence Crawford?" He said he didn't feel like chasing nobody around the ring all night, and he decided to go with the IBF, and that's why him and Earl Spence had that fight. That could have easily been Terrence Crawford could have did the same thing Mikey did. He chose not to. So it ain't but one person that's sure about themselves in this fight. His name Errol Spence, and you dudes gonna see that fight night. But that's it for me on this video. If you like the video, hit the like or subscribe. Till next time, it's your man Spill Dog. I'm out.